4, 3, 2, 1. You are live.
All right, what's good? What's good, Chris? How you doing, man?
Man, chilling, man. Been another good day trying to, watch out for all these fires happening in Cali.
Yeah, shoot, I'm trying to draw. I'm trying to dodge the tree branches from all
Man,
the wind.
hey, but where the hell is this wind coming from, though? You would almost think it's like, what, like April or like, I don't know when the wind's supposed to come, but damn,
Yeah,
it
it's
seems
windy
to
as
be here
hell.
now.
It's the Santa Ana winds, man, that's kicking our butt, man. I'm telling you, I was out there today, and the wind was just absolutely crazy. I mean, to the point where I'm seeing little dogs, like the little dogs, just sitting there running up under their owners and
Like,
stuff.
they hiding and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So, man, hey, I have to thank you and thank Tony, man, for doing such an amazing, and I'll say it one more time, amazing job last week, bro. You guys held it down on the show. Thank you.
Nah, it was nice. Hey, bro, I'm telling you, and you were definitely missed. It was nice. I think sometimes we got to switch it up, and sometimes if we not available, just do that, and then
Yeah.
sometimes us three, because our personalities just together is dope.
No,
So
that's true. That's
I
true.
had to tell people like, regardless, you're gonna get that good show. So just
Yeah.
make sure you tune in and tell all your family.
Right. No, and see, that's what's dope about like every single host on the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network. Like every single show is going to be a good show because every single host is really that good. And of course, you already know Tony, she's the producer of our show and,
Right.
and the founder of Hot Topics Talk Radio. So, she's going to always bring her A game to the show.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you like this though. Whoever come on this show, I ain't gonna be doing your role because your role, like I said, is too much talking, too much you gotta do and remember. I just want
Um,
to be crazy after I have my drink and sit back and chill. I mean, I just
oh,
want to
man.
sit back and chill.
Not drink?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, okay. No, man. So yeah, I love the topic so much, man, that you guys, talked on last week, man. I wanted to dive back into it this week because I felt like there were so many things that I wanted to just say. I mean, I'm watching the video after you guys were finished, and
Mhm.
obviously it was just a recording of the show, so it wasn't live like how you and I are live right now.
Right.
So and I'm sitting here like ready to comment like one of you guys are gonna see the comment, you know?
And the funny
Like
thing
it
is,
was
I was like, I know he had a lot to say when he watched it.
man, because it was a good show. Like it really was a good show. Like to see, Tony's perspective on racism and to hear some of the things that she went through growing up.
Yeah.
Because she always brings a level of serious class, but
Hmm.
then at the same time she brings that sister girl to the show when
Right.
she needs to. You know
Oh,
what I'm
she it
saying?
times when it come out. It come out when she ready for it to come out.
It come out. She wanted to call you the N word just for a second. I know she
Hey, I
gonna kill me
see.
for saying
The funny thing is, I wanted to call her one too, but since she said it was disrespectful, I couldn't call her that. So I just
you
called
wouldn't
her the
call her
N
that.
word all night.
No,
I was like, "What's wrong with
no,
you,
man.
N word?"
Uh-uh. So look, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys share the post right now. You're tuned in right now on Man to Man TV
Ooh, you're running.
with Richard Hall and Chris Smith. Make sure you guys share this post. Invite your friends over right now because in a minute we're gonna get right into tonight's topic in a minute because the topic for tonight is, are you a racist or are you prejudiced? And this is part two. This is part two. Like
Part
me, I
two.
can like I wanted to go on there so bad, man, because I have my answers for this, and I know you're gonna probably try to drill me tonight, Chris. I already know you're gonna try to drill me tonight.
Well,
I
my
already
thing
know.
is this: we're gonna touch on new stuff, but at the same time, please feel free to talk about anything you didn't get to talk about last week. Because to be honest
Yeah.
with you, I was thinking like, dang, I wonder what he would have thought, or I wonder where he would have went with this. So I'm like I said, I want to see where you're gonna go with it tonight.
Well, one of the things, if we could start right there, let's just jump right into it, man. But
Okay.
before we jump in, we of course gotta, thank our sponsors. We gotta thank Ninth Island Culture Club. We gotta thank let's see, we got so many sponsors. Who else do we gotta thank? We gotta thank
Shades of
SMG Media.
Africa.
Yeah, we got to thank Shades of Africa. Thank you for that, Chris. And of course, for more information on our sponsors, go over to the hottopicstalkradio.com /sponsors because, of course, there's some deals that you guys can take advantage of by going into the different sponsors, stores, or venues, things like that. And you could take advantage of some of those promos by mentioning Man to Man TV or mentioning Hot Topics Talk Radio.
And you know
But
your best
also,
rep discounts.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And, of course, we got to shout out, Real World News and Hot
Yep.
Topics with Roland D and Toni Breedlove, because, they held it down last night. From what I understand, I heard they had a great show last night.
Okay.
So, go to those other pages too. And like the pages, like our business page, the Hot Topics, the main show page, which is Hot Topics Talk Radio. And you guys can stay informed. So, Chris, let's get into it, man. Are you a racist?
Are you asking?
Are you a racist? Yes, I'm asking you. Hey, what's up, Jacqueline Price? I saw Jacqueline. I gotta say hi to Jacqueline real quick, because I saw Jacqueline last night. She was on fire. Well, not last night, but last week.
She held it down last
she was on
week
fire.
too, though.
Yeah, she was on fire. So I hope we get a good level of participation from her tonight. So thank you for tuning in, Jacqueline. We're gonna get to you, okay? So Chris,
yeah,
I'm going right back at you, man. Are you a racist?
I mean, I won't say that I'm racist. I will say that I have certain views when it comes to certain things, as far as like if you see like if you hear certain scenarios, I can pretty much tell you like, yeah, he was white. Oh yeah, that's some black stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think to a certain degree, all of us kind of have that in us. Now, Are we willing to admit that? No. I think in the society that we're in today, you'll be quickly judged to be racist if you make certain comments. And like I was telling Tony last week, it's different for white folks or Caucasians, because they can't make certain statements like that, because you done ran out of all your cards with everything that had happened.
Right.
In the past. Kind of like, it's unfair, but it just is the way it just is what it is, because there's been so much that's happened in this world. But other races, they get that type of play. They can make certain statements, but just be careful who you're talking to.
Yeah, no, you should be careful, because I think what tends to happen, like right now, because anytime I hear the word, like a word that's pronounced with ist on the back of it, like a scientist or racist, or as you would say, dominologist. When you add a ist on the back of it, like a chemist, a chemist is someone that focuses, that specializes in in chemicals, right? And that's someone that specializes in that. A scientist is someone that specializes in science, or a geologist. That's their specialty. So when I hear the word racist, it's someone that specializes in the understanding of their race. They specialize in the understanding of their race. But I think what ends up happening is, because, okay, here it is. If racist, if you specialize in your race, right, then you are a racist. Now, last week, Tony said that there's no such thing, you can't be an individual can't be a racist. That's what Tony said.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that.
Right. I believe an individual can be a racist if they specialize in all of their history. Or, like, you look at Hitler, he was a racist, right? Now, granted, he was a person in power, but there were other people that were brainwashed in his teachings against the Jews, where they specialized in their information of their race.
Well, I just look at it like this. When I look at being a racist, it's basically saying you have hate towards that certain race. So to me, that makes you a racist. I mean, prejudice, the funny thing is, if you look at racist in the dictionary, prejudice is a part of that as well. So I don't know if it's like a fine line between being prejudiced or racist. But my thing is, if you have pure like evil or evil intent, or you hate just because of a race, then you're a racist.
And right, you are a racist. But because I believe, like, even when we talk about prejudice, like, honestly, I'm prejudiced. I'm not gonna lie. I'm prejudiced. I prejudge people. I prejudge people.
Okay.
I'm prejudiced because to be prejudiced means to prejudge something or a situation.
What about
And I
certain
love
races?
what's that?
Are you prejudiced against certain races?
No, not really. I'm prejudiced against everybody. You know, I prejudge people a lot. I love everybody, you know, but like even when I grew up
Mm-hmm.
in the Nation of Islam, right? Where, you know, I was taught to believe that all white people were devils.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught to believe that. You know,
That's great.
all white people are devils. And, you know, and it was crazy because I would sit back and I would think, um, you know, there were so many nice white people that I grew up around.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to come up like with that type of level of teaching.
Yeah, well, it's not sad. It's just
Oh, that's sad.
it's
That's
well,
sad.
only reason why it's sad is because well, okay, I could see how it could be sad.
Yeah, because I mean,
It
it's
could
no
be
different than if anybody was raised to just not like black folks. I mean, you know, you would say the same.
right.
It's sad.
Right. But considering if we're going back to some of the things that have happened to black people, you know, stripped of knowledge of self, you know, you know, wives seeing their husbands while they're pregnant being killed and lynched and things like that in front of them, which affected the fetus inside of that mother, you know, from
Right.
back in slavery days to make children grow up to be afraid and you know to cause division in the family and you know I mean we can go real deep like
I
into the
mean,
Willie
yeah,
Lynch.
but the only thing though, and it's one of those things where I sometimes remind people that even within all of that was going on, and I can't say going back that far, but as time progressed, you actually saw like white folks standing with black people. So my thing is when
Right.
we make those kind of statements, we have to understand that those are certain individuals. And
Right.
there were some that actually did see the light and do different or chose to do different. And I
Right.
feel like when we're teaching as far as like how we should see a certain race, we're teaching off of the hate and the ugliness of what that race basically has shown the world. Like I look at even like how black people are viewed. We're viewed based off of what the world continues to want to show us how we are. And it's never
Right.
like in a good light. It's not in like the light of, yeah, we go to work every day, you know, we go home and take care of our
We're
families,
father.
we save money, we have good credit. It's always we on food stamps, we rap, we play sports good, and
Right.
we ghetto. And that's like usually, and so it's like, what do you expect like most races to see us like? They're only seeing us the way the world continues to show us.
Well, but at the same time we don't help ourselves out. Like
I agree.
there's a lot of stupid shit that black people do, man, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stupid shit that like every nationality does, and you're right. You know, I think when it does come to you know things that happen like within the black community or whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just put all over the place. I mean, our own people will create a website. You know, when there's a fight amongst black people, World Star. You know,
Damn right. World stuff.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that see here you go.
No,
But I'm just no, but I'm just saying like some of the things that we do, we kind of self-sabotage ourselves, man. You know,
definitely.
I mean, to where I'm sitting here looking at some of these cats, man, walk down the street or some of these women that walk down the street and I'm like, God dang, why are you wearing that? Or pull your dang pants up. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we all go through phases. I mean, you know, when you and I grew up, we wore baggy clothes, right? I
Right.
wore the baggy
Bigger than what they
sweats.
wear today.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. But the only difference is we wore our pants on our hip. We might have a big T-shirt on. No, we might have a long T-shirt on or whatever that might go like right above our knees. You know,
Nah, I mean, no,
with our
I sagged. No, I'm not gonna lie, I sagged. You know, my brother
yeah,
sagged. I mean, you know, that was the style back then. You know, but it's
yeah.
like,
Oh, I mean, we all sag, but these kids, they wearing skinny jeans, bro, and like you see, they're in all of their boxers, like the whole everything, like
that's because they confused. They growing up with women and they think that it's okay to wear that type of stuff, and they wear
yeah.
jeggings. I mean, sweats, but they jeggings. Like,
Wait,
it's just-
that's a
I'm
whole
just
nother topic.
saying,
Right? No, you're right.
right?
You're right. That's a whole
But
nother
but
topic.
my thing is this: we can't confuse that also with trends too, because a lot of what people do, like when they're dressing like that, like how we were into baggy clothes, a lot of
Right.
that was just fashion. That was just a trend at that time,
No
and that's
doubt.
the reason why we did certain things. Like when I talk about like ignorant stuff, like I mean, like one thing I can't stand is when I go somewhere and like I see like black folks. This kill me when I see a black folk like black women yelling at their kids in like a restaurant. Like you don't see nobody else in this. I'm like I'm about to cuss because it's making me mad now. You don't see nobody else in this damn restaurant cussing, but you up here talking about Javon, get over here now. It's like God damn it! I'll be looking like look, I'll be like this and shit. I'll be like I want to eat my food because I don't want to look up and see what the white folks is doing because I know they looking like God damn it, we got to move again. And I'm looking at
Wait,
them like you damn right. Where are we going next?
right. You thinking it's time to move? It's time to move. There goes the
Right,
neighborhood.
because it's just like, and this is the thing, and this is what we touched on last week. As you get older, there's a certain way you're supposed to carry yourself. So there are certain things there are certain actions within you that you have to turn off. The same way you
Right.
would do when you go to church versus when you go
Right.
to the club.
Right.
It's just when you go to work versus when
Right.
you're out and about with your peoples. Like you have to turn that off. And it's not to say like you can't be yourself, but it's like at the same time, there's a time and a place for everything.
Right.
And I think you have to adapt to certain situations so that way you can, I don't know, not be like everybody else, but at least, I don't know, don't be a freaking embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that happens a lot. I think it's the embarrassing thing because at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes when your mindset, when you're so depressed in your brain and you just feel like, and this is me just trying to understand the psyche of somebody that goes through what they're going through, and sometimes that's just the best outfit they have.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's just the best outfit they have, and they really just trying to hold themselves together because I mean let's be all the way real, man. Sometimes a lot of opportunities they slip by us
Oh,
because
definitely.
of a lack of education or a lack of someone showing us how to approach a job interview, how to even approach a client, or if you're an entrepreneur or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes people that go down that road, but everybody has a level of being prejudiced because just like what you said last week,
Mm-hmm.
if you said there was an accident or something and an Asian person cut you off or whatever, what nationality was, some along those lines you said. I don't
Well,
remember verbatim.
I don't remember either. It was like a scenario, but it's just like, okay, so for instance, like you said, we don't have anybody to kind of like teach like how to do like job interviews, right? And
Right.
I blame that on most black folks because now I had a conversation with some of my coworkers this week because I've really been trying to dive into just like having a conversation with people and really trying to get them to understand why we think the way we think, why they think the way they think. And the thing
How are you
was,
starting the conversation out? How are you starting it out when you talk about it?
well, for one, I told everybody last week when you're having a conversation like this, it has to be with people that you're comfortable with and because that way you can make sure you guys stay on the same page and it's not taken so personal. So these are people that I've known for, years. Like at least I've only been working at this job for maybe a year and a half. Well,
Okay.
on the actual job, but I've known them for longer than that. So the
Right.
thing was, I told them about the show last week and they were kind of having a conversation about certain things. But then I told them, I said, you know what? I kind of want to see how you guys see things because I feel like we don't spend enough time asking other races like how do you guys see this or why do you guys see it like this? We spend too much time wanting to feel like it's just like, oh, well, it's nothing wrong with us or it's something wrong with them, but you're not actually taking the time. So watch this. This was actually cool. So
Mhm.
I was talking to a couple of Hispanic, I call them Mexicans. I don't want to be politically correct. I was talking to some Mexican folks at my job. So we had a conversation.
Okay.
And one of the questions that I asked him was, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know some Spanish, but I don't know a lot. But it's weird to me that we could all be having a conversation right here, and then you break off, and you still standing right there, but then you start speaking in Spanish. And my thing is,
Oh.
why do you guys like? Why do you? And it was the
Well, do
most
you feel
simplest.
some type of way when that happens?
Well, watch this. Yes, I do because I'm like this.
Why?
What the fuck y'all talking about? You talking about me? Your mama.
But
No,
why do you have to think? Why do you have to think they talk about you, man?
God,
I mean,
don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. That's what all people think when you're in certain situations. So the thing was, when I asked him that question, he gave me the simplest answer, and it made so much sense. I was like, so why do you guys do that? Like, we could be having a conversation right here, but then just y'all two start talking, and then you talk in Spanish. Like, why do you guys do that? And he was like, well, because that's my language. So that's what I naturally feel comfortable talking in. And I was like, damn, I don't even know why I never thought like that. You know,
right?
like it was
Because I
just
was,
weird.
yeah,
It was
I was
just
gonna
weird
say that.
that. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that's what they, because I've heard that before from people where they'll say it's easier to communicate that way in their native tongue. You
So
know
I
what I'm
said,
saying?
so then I asked him because I said, let me explain something to you. You do realize in the American culture, when you guys do stuff like that, it comes off rude. Have you ever looked at it like that? Or did you even know that sometimes people can see it in that manner? And he was like, nah, I never even thought about it like that. And I said, it is
Yeah.
because it's almost like we're all in the same room having the same conversation, but yet you're wanting to change what you're doing. But at the same time, like I said, because of the American culture, that's how we think like, oh, that's rude. Like they're up there having this private, secret conversation and we can't even understand what they're saying. But
But
really,
was it
it's
like? But see, okay, I have to know a little bit more details of this.
okay.
Was it like a situation where
Well, I'm
you
not even
guys
talking
were,
about a situation. I'm just saying, just in general, when you're out and you might be having just a conversation with people you don't even know, and then all of a sudden
right,
they branch off, and you're like, what the fuck they talking about? You know, you just think like
right?
that because you
So
don't
okay,
understand.
okay, so it can come off rude, and disrespectful, but because just like Latifah, she commented right now, she said it comes off disrespectful, but I asked and I was told it's easier. The same thing you said,
Yeah.
and hard to translate some phrases in English, so it's the same thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, my grandmother, she spoke Spanish as her first language, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's from Cuba. And my grandmother, as her first language, like this was a trip because when she became an American citizen, and she had the cutest, strongest accent on the planet, like she
Mm-hmm.
really did. And I remember one time I was in the bank with her, and the lady, the bank teller was all nice, and she was like, oh ma'am, you're so nice, where are you from? And she was like, I'm from America. That's what
Yeah.
she said. And she was like, no, you have to be from someplace else, because you have an accent. I don't have no accent. I don't have no damn accent. I'm from America. But
Yeah.
then she started cursing the lady out in Spanish,
Mm.
you know. Right. My grandmother was funny. She's like,
Hey, the lady ready to cuss her out. I knew you was lying. Go on and get out the line, Grandma.
right. No doubt. I mean, but I miss my grandmother, by the way. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of times, like me personally, I don't really feel too much of offense when people start speaking Spanish around me. Um, I think maybe if I'm having like an insecure moment, like one of the things that I know I got, right? I have ugly feet. That's the one thing that I'm insecure about is my feet, right? I have ugly feet. So I'll take my wife and my girls to go get manicures and pedicures and stuff like that. And we'll, as a family, go get manicures and pedicures, right?
Yeah.
And every single time that I'm in there having somebody touch my feet and they say something, I swear to God, I think they're talking about me, man. Every single time.
But see, at the same time, and that's what I was gonna say because see, for you, it kind of touches on something I want to talk about later too. Because at the same time, like you said, like it doesn't really bother you, but yet you have like Spanish,
At that moment,
you have the Latin descent in your family. So at the end of the day, like you really can't identify with certain things like that because it's natural to you. Like this is something, it's not something new for you to see people talking like that and you're actually comfortable being around it. Now, go on down to LA, go to Compton, and we having a conversation and that same type of conversation happens. They, it's a different level of thinking that
right?
they would have in a certain situation like that. So what I'm saying is that you know it's little things like that that are misunderstood. you know, when he told me that's how I feel comfortable, you know, communicating, like I said, it made total sense to me because I'm like, right, why wouldn't you want to talk in the language that you were born and like raised in talking like that? Like, it doesn't make sense that you would go to your second language. Like, if you really look at it like that, then you truly understand. But there are so many situations like that within all races that I feel like we don't ask those questions, and that's the reason why there'll always be a misunderstanding with how we are with each other because we're not taking the time to learn each other.
Now, Latifa brought up a really good comment right now. Latifa, and thank you for this comment, Latifa, because she says in business environment, they should know business etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I really want to know what Latifa means by that. So, is business etiquette, by your definition, them being at work and they have to speak English, or you're saying that, or what exactly are you saying, Latifa? Help
Yeah,
me
because
understand.
that you know, my thing is this: whatever you feel comfortable speaking, and that's what you do. You know, like I said, it's just my thing was I was pointing that out as far as how some people might view it. You know, and
Right,
then I also kind of went in deep too, just to find out like how were you raised? Because one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't like, we shy away from these type of conversations, even though we'll be friends with each other. But there's
right,
always been a strong like evil presence between like Mexicans and blacks. Like they've always fought, they've always gone at each other. And the
right.
funny thing is we've gone through similar struggles, so it really makes no sense that we go at each other like that. But there's a level of hatred that's been coming up from years
Yeah.
back that just
No, that's
continues to
true.
go forward. And my thing is this: I've never gotten involved with that because for me, I was raised around Mexicans. I was raised around pretty much all races. So for me, I can't just like even when they had like Mexicans versus black fights, I never got
Yeah.
involved in that because to me it
Right.
was stupid and it didn't make no sense. Plus, I had a lot of Mexican people that I loved. So for
Right.
me, they represented Mexican people, not the people that hated blacks.
Right. No, that's true. Okay, so Latifa commented, okay, so she was speaking from, okay, if I'm getting my nails done, speak English. Okay, so you're speaking from a
Girl,
customer. Okay, okay. So I feel you, Latifa. So basically, if she says, she's like, look, if I'm in the nail shop giving you my money, you know,
wait a
you're gonna
minute, wait
speak
a
some
minute,
damn
wait a
English.
minute. They ain't talking to you. I can see if they
Wait,
talking
but
to
they might
you.
be talking about, they talk about her big toe. They talk about Latifa's big toe.
I'm
You
just
feel how I feel.
no, but seriously, the comment she just made is exactly how a lot of black folks might feel in that situation. I just, like I said, I just use Hispanics or Mexicans in that situation. But like I said, I'm saying in all scenarios, like that's how some black people take it. And you know, like I said, it's hard to understand if you haven't, like I said, you have the Latin descent in you. So at the same time, like for you, it's a little bit different. You don't
But you know
see it as
what?
an issue.
Well, no, but it's a little different. But what's a trip? You know, my mom's first language is Spanish, right?
Mhm.
My mom's first language was Spanish. So growing up as a kid, my mom didn't speak Spanish to me because she wanted me to speak proper English.
Mhm.
She didn't speak too much of English when I was growing up. You know, but then now if you hear her talk, she has no accent or anything like that.
Yeah,
You know,
you can
she's
never
like
tell.
American. But see, when I was growing up, if you were in the ESL classes because you know Spanish was your first language, you
Hmm.
know, and it's sad to say, but they'll put you in the ESL classes and you know and people around would look at you like you were stupid if you were in the
Yeah.
ESL class. And so my
Hmm.
mom never ever wanted me to go through that, you know. And
Well,
so
watch this. My biggest question was the level of, and I don't know if you would call it racism, but prejudice, like being prejudiced within your own race. Because I also asked
right,
about that with a few different people. Because I was wondering, because you know, in like
oh
black folks,
definitely,
we've always had that light skin versus dark skin. You know,
oh
it's
yeah, but
like,
it goes back. It
oh
goes
yeah,
back
yeah,
to the
it
word
definitely
lynch
does.
letter, you know.
Hmm. But the thing is I wanted to know within that with other races as well. Now, I was talking to one of my friends, and she told me she was like, "Yeah, there is a level of like prejudice, like just being prejudiced between like within the same race." Like she goes, "I get discriminated by Hispanics that know how to speak Spanish. I don't. So she goes, anytime like I go to like certain situations, they kind of talk down on me or they treat me like crap. And she's like, I was raised out here. This is the fourth generation family, so my fourth generation was all. I think she said the fourth generation, so all of her family basically had been out here since like I guess the second generation. So they didn't
Oh,
know what it was to be like, to speak Spanish and stuff. So she goes, I wasn't raised on that. My mom didn't talk like that. She goes, we
right.
just pretty much were raised like Americans, but they
To
look
speak
down on us for that.
right. No, no, but that's true. That's true because, like, in my family, my dad's black from Mississippi, Shelby, Mississippi. Used to be a water boy in the cotton fields,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll tell that story. He used to tell that story all the time. But my mom, raised with her, it was like, I want you to speak proper English, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But I think, like, I saw one video, man, that kind of disgusted me though, because I'm glad you brought this up. There was a video that I saw of this Spanish lady at a restaurant. This was like a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
and she was at a restaurant with her family at like a Denny's or something, and she ordered her food in Spanish and everything like that. And some lady, that was there, and it made this poor lady cry. This Spanish lady made her cry. This white lady like attacked her. It was during the whole election time, and she was
Okay.
all on, you know, you're in America. You need to
Mm-hmm.
speak English. You're in
Yeah.
America. You don't need to talk that over here. And she was literally verbally attacking this lady and everything. And the son started speaking proper English, and then, but just because the lady was speaking Spanish, she assumed that she was, number one, uneducated, and then she
Mm-hmm.
assumed, number two, that that she had no type of like money, or anything like that. And I thought that was whack, man. Now,
Well,
hold on. Latifa said a comment. She said, I love my black people, but we are the weakest because we don't support each other. We
I
support
agree.
money
I
and
agree.
what benefits self."
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, Latifa.
How do you feel about that?
And you know, I have mixed feelings about that because, granted, I love black people too. I really do. I love black people, but I can't stand them as a client sometimes.
Mm.
I really
Talk
can't.
about it. Talk about it.
Well, like, for one thing that I hate, one thing that I just really don't like
Mm-hmm.
is, I get hit with the brother, brother, brother. Yeah, brother. Oh, I'm so glad, brother. You an entrepreneur, brother. Oh, brother, brother. I get the brother thing so much, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, then it turns into, when I tell them my price, for my service, for, detailing and things like that, company price. Now I'm competitive, with everybody
Right.
else in the market,
Good.
comparable, been one of the top five companies in the Inland Empire, for a minute, right? So the part that bothers me is, well, man, you're going to give me the brother price, right?
What's the brother price?
Right. What's the brother price? But mind you, this is the person that wants to buy black and wants to support black owned business.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and then it turns into, well, man, why don't you just do it? Do it. And I'm like, dude,
Why you
I'm
ain't saying
sorry,
it the
sir.
way it's supposed to be said? Hey, so I know you gonna hook me up, right? Are you gonna hook me
They
up?
say that too. They say that too. It's kind of like, do I go to the barber shop? Do I go to my black barber and be like, brother, brother, what's up, brother? Hey,
Nah,
man,
but
so
to
you
be
gonna
honest
give
with you, they do.
you gonna
To
give that
be honest
you
with you,
gonna give
they
that
do. They do do
really?
that. Yes, but this is the thing though, and this is where like it's crazy to me because they go to get a haircut and it's like we never think about tipping. Like tipping is not even like in black folks
No,
vocabulary. And I
no,
won't
that's
say
not
all,
true.
but I'll say it
Okay. Yeah, I
most.
was about to say that's not true because not all. Trust me, I got a client, man. Let me tell you about this one black
You ain't
client, man.
telling another story. You told too
No,
many
just real quick, brother. I got one black client that I love, man. Like, I love all my clients, but this dude, man, like for Christmas and stuff, he just hooked me up with like three pairs of shoes, like out of the clear blue sky, man. Just like
stories.
love, you know what I mean? Because he's like, you're always on your feet, man, and just show me mad love. So I mean, there are black clients that show love, but I think what ends up happening is there's so much self hatred, to where we don't want to see another black person succeed as much as we might say we want to. We really don't want them to, because there's always that level of competition, man. I
But
really
that's the thing, though. We're in competition with ourselves,
true.
and that's some like, and that's the part that I find weird. And what was weird is because I was here, I was thinking like Mexicans more stand together than other races outside of like the Asian descent and all that type of stuff, because
But that's how they
they're real
build.
hardcore. They're real hardcore with their beliefs and
Absolutely.
keeping tradition. So outside of them, I was thinking that they were more. And the reason why I said that is because, give an example. So like the family that I used to live by, they wanted to make sure that all of their family members were raised right and made enough money to take care of not just themselves but also their families. So what they did was they bought a house, like a 3-bedroom house, and all of their family members moved in. Now, when one person would move out, they would move another person in. And, the kids are getting older. They would save their money. And they
Yeah.
basically allowed them to start their own lives. And to be honest with you, I always admired that. And I
It's
always
beautiful.
said, black folks could never do that. And the reason why I say that is because we too busy watching each other. What he got? Why he got to have the biggest room?
Yep.
I pay the same rent as him. Why he got to be able to have the biggest TV? And it's like we focus on all the stupid small stuff, and that's why I said like Latifah said in earlier, that's why we're very weak, because we focus on the simple stuff. We want to look good now versus trying to take
Well,
care of
yeah.
ourselves for later.
No, and that's very true. And see, Jacqueline, she said a good point right now. She just said we need to be more supportive of each other. Understand that we are in business, so stop looking for handouts. And
Right.
that's very, very true, Jacqueline. And I wish a lot more people would say that. And Latifah said, yes, you hit always competing to be that one black, but don't want to help others.
Right.
Wait, hold on. You hit
Mhm.
always competing. Okay, black people always competing. Okay, but don't want to help others. Yeah, and that's true. Okay, so I hit it. I hit it right. I hit the nose on the head. That's what it sounds like Latifah was saying. And it's the truth, man. It's the truth. I think black, and you're right, Chris, because Mexicans, they know how to get together
Mhm.
and they use their resources. I mean, you look at them. They have their own grocery stores. They have their own car lots.
Mhm.
They have their own. They dominate the landscaping business.
Oh yeah.
Dominate. And understand this. I remember, man, I heard this one cat. Let me tell you something, man. I heard this one cat one time say, "Oh man, that's crazy. All this dude does is cut grass, and oh man, he cut grass and this and that." Man, let
Mhm.
me tell you something. Let me tell you something. One of my number one clients is a landscaper.
Mhm.
The
And
whole
he make
family is a
bank.
land make bank. All their
People don't even
cars are paid
understand how
off.
much they pay just
Right.
for them to come
They
out once a week.
come out once a week and they're nice and everything like that. But I think people, we prejudge so much. And that's why I started the show off by saying, yes, I am prejudiced. I am. I prejudge people. But as long as I'm okay with saying that within myself, that's something that I can work on. And I think if us as individuals can say, yes, okay, I'm racist. How do I fix this? How do I work through this?
Yeah, the
How do
only
I learn how the black
they don't
person
know
or the
that they
white?
are. See, that's the
But,
part where you're kind of missing right there. They don't know that they.
oh, okay.
See, the thing
Mm.
is, a lot of people are
But I
raised.
have two. I have two. I have two black friends. What do you mean they don't know?
Yeah, it's that type of mentality, but not just stuff like that. And a lot of times, when situations, because I've always been that guy that when I hang out with white folks, I'm usually probably the only black person there. And
Yeah.
the reason why is because they've gotten comfortable with me over the years. We've had conversations, they've gotten to know me, and it's like, yeah, like you're a pretty cool brother. But it's like at the same time, like they make those comments and they say stuff like that. But I always try to let them know, it's a lot of us out there like that. But if you're not in that environment to be around them, then you wouldn't
Right.
know. So how do you expect them to know that and see that if they never see it? I was telling them last week we had a situation where a little girl asked me how did my skin tone get the way that it did, and I told
Yeah,
her
I heard you
God.
tell that story.
Right. So the thing is, you have to look at adults in the same aspect as you would look at that child the way she saw it. Because how can you
Right.
expect them to know if they're never around it? That's why I
Right.
said we have to have more conversations with that, because if we don't, then we're always going to be going back and forth with each other. You know, my biggest thing, and I stand with white folks when they say, you know, black folks make too many excuses. And yes, we do. We make too many excuses. Not to say that we don't have hard times. I'm not going away from that, because trust me, I know. And yes, there are more obstacles that we most of the time have to go through. But at the same time, that's a part of life. And I'm not saying that it's fair, because it's not, but it is
Well,
what
no,
it is.
we all have to go through stuff, man.
Right. And it
We
is
all
what
have
it
to
is.
go.
But the problem is
Yeah.
you'll have some folks that'll say, well, nah, that's not right, because it should be equal. God damn it, the world ain't equal. So stop looking
No,
for it
it's
to be
not.
equal.
No,
You know, we can.
it's not. It's not equal because I mean, I remember a job where I was working at this place, Chris, and I worked there for, like 2 years longer than a new hire that came in, white guy, right? And I trained the white guy and everything because I was in sales and all that good stuff. I trained him and I mentored him for like 3 months and everything during the process. Then come to find out, he's talking because we built up like a friendship over
Yeah.
time. And man, they started this dude out. Man, this dude was brand new with the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's his first real sales job. Mind you, I had like a
Years of
bunch of
experience.
sales experience. Bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, come to find out, man, we're out to lunch and stuff, and I'm treating him to lunch, thinking that, like I'm being groomed to be a supervisor or whatever within this company.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was making like $300 more a week than me.
It happens. It does
That
happen.
that was crazy to me. But
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the first real times that I've ever experienced where we would say that we're equal or anything like that, but it was the first time that I've ever really experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to have a talk with my supervisor about that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I
Find out
talked
why
to my
that happened.
but understand the way that I approached it, the typical way that we approach things as black people,
Hey,
the typical way is
this some
yeah, yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, we angry. Why you pay this motherfucker? This motherfucker,
I've been at the
we're talking
motherfucking
about a
job for
person,
like
place, and
5
thing.
days. I've been here 5 years. He just got here. He
Right,
don't take as many breaks as me, but he
right,
ain't smart. He don't, we start hating and doing stuff like that.
right. No, and that's true. But I talked to him about it. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, that's like the golden rule. You don't talk about how much you make in the workplace sometimes. You don't. But you
Yeah.
would think that it would be equal. That's what they say in the HR books. They say that.
No, they
Don't
say
talk
that, but
about.
that's just for folks that's weak and just they
Right.
insecure about their own lives. Be happy with what you got.
No, that's true. But, when I talked to my supervisor at the time, I talked to him, had an educated conversation with him, and I asked him why. I said, I don't understand. I said, and we had a really good conversation. He said, you know what, Richard, you're right. I don't know how this got through the cracks. He probably knew how it got through the cracks,
Yeah.
but, you know, when I approached it in a correct manner instead of acting ignorant or being mad, even though I was boiling inside. Because here, this guy is a single dude with no wife, no kids, and here I am, a married dude with wife and 4 kids, trying to, do what I have to do to take care of my family, and he's making more
Yeah.
money than me. You know what I mean? But thankfully, it worked out well. But there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of little things that go out to where we want to be treated equal. I just think that we have to go in without that feeling of expecting thing. I think a lot of times, and this is general for even the younger generation of black people, white people, millennials, whatever. There's a
Mm-hmm.
certain thing going on right now where people don't like to work hard or too smart for stuff. They want things given to them, you know.
So
And
what are you
you know
saying
what I'm
now?
saying.
What? So black folks are like that, or most races like that? Where are you going with this?
Well, I think I think more black people are like that to a degree, where it's a pride thing. Like I need an office like this. I need a job like this. I'm not gonna do this if they have me do that. Kind of picky sometimes. I think a lot of black people are like that.
Well, I honestly
It's a
feel like
pride
it's
thing.
it's just
Pride
it's
thing.
just it's a pride thing, but it's also more so a sense of entitlement. I feel like a lot of black folks feel like they think they should have more than what they really do have. And my thing is, if you don't put it in, and the funny thing is, people think like that, and they don't even put in the work. I'd be like, how the hell you think you should have a nice house or you should be making this much money and you take more breaks than anybody here? Like,
Right.
like that'd be tripping me out. But it's like at the same time, like it's not that and it's not that I just want to dog, like the black race. It's just there are certain things that I want to expose that outside.
Yeah.
I want to expose it out of the black race and let people know what we think too as well. Because I think sometimes we'll kind of like side with our own race and we won't really like disclose the realness that actually is going on. So you have the other races like, oh yeah, they make excuses, but they don't do this, they don't do this, they don't do this, and yet we think the same way. We just don't say it, and that's why I'm saying there are certain conversations that have to be had with all races. So that way, when we're having these conversations, we can actually say, yes, I feel the same way as you. Yes, I hate niggas. You can't say it, but yes, I hate niggas too. And it's just those are the type of conversations that I feel like we should be having. But
I understand. I understand that. And real quick, I just want to mention our sponsors again because it's 7:45, and you know how it is, Chris. We can't do this show without our sponsors. Shades of Africa, with our very own Reggie Kearney from the Urban Sentinel, and of course Gina Smith of SPMG Media. And then again, yeah, that's your mom. And then again, go over
y'all
to
don't
the
gotta
hot
say it
topic.
every single time, okay? That's my boo.
Well, Tony started it last week. You said
okay,
it. Tony
she started it, let her finish it.
Yeah, no, that's your mama. You're a mama's boy. This way.
You know better than that, boy.
Oh man, I'm not gonna give you a hard time this week, man. I'm not gonna do it. But no,
I'm gonna give your ass a hard time.
Hey, look, go over there to the Hot Topics Talk Radio website and check out our sponsors as well as check out some of the other shows. And because we also, people don't know, Chris, that we've been doing this stuff, man, for a minute, and we have a bunch of shows, in our archives on the Blog Talk Radio.
Mm-hmm.
So they can go listen to all the archive shows and everything like that on the hottopicstalkradio.com website. So make sure you guys go over there and check it out too. But real quick, Chris, I just had to just switch gears just a little bit because we had a couple comments. Tony, if you could put that back up. I think Jacqueline said a comment first. Okay, well, Latifah said, there we go. She said, pride is a serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
You have to come outside yourself and be a blessing to others. And that's true. That's true, Jacqueline. I think if we can honestly walk in the spirit of humility instead of competition, then we can come up, but I think because it's almost like crabs in a barrel, it's that what can you do for me if I bless you?
One thing, but I don't want to just stick on, just black people in general. Like, I talked to a bunch of different races this week, and really wanted to kind of see the side, because I even asked, like, okay, so going back to that whole, when we in a restaurant and then you hear a black woman yell out like Javon and all that kind of stuff when there's nobody in the restaurant yelling except her. I asked her because I asked her. It was a white person I was talking to, and I told her, I said, in situations like that, I get embarrassed because I feel like it's embarrassing to me. Like it's almost like she's representing the black race, and it's only us in there. It's only like maybe just me and her. So it's like they looking at her, they're looking at me like, yeah, he probably the same way. So I asked her. I said, do you guys ever get like that with each other? Like, so if you see like a white person acting crazy, do you get embarrassed by that? And she was like, no, why would I be embarrassed? That's what he's doing, and that's what represents him. I said, see, and that's where it's different for black folks, because when we've made it out of situations, like I moved out of a situation to put myself where I'm at now. So my thing is, when I'm here, I'm looking at it like, God dang it. Like, why you got to bring that here? Like, this is.
But you know what? I think it depends on where you're at too, man. Because a lot of times I've seen at a Mexican restaurant, dude. I've seen a Mexican abuelita, grab her chancla and smack a kid upside the head, because they're out of pocket. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It happens. It happens. It happens. There's going to be those moments. So it just depends. Now, Latifah, she brought up an excellent thing. She said there is prejudice in same sex too. Men can't pay each other a compliment, and women just are way too insecure.
Look, that's a
Wow.
topic right there.
Hey, you know what? That's a really good topic right there, Chris. I
Yeah,
think we should do that next week before we close out the year, man. Like,
might
because that's
have
a topic on its own. Yeah,
we might
thank you
have
for that, Latifah. Yeah, because I don't know if that's to a degree that's prejudice, but I think that's more of um pride thing. You know,
but you
I
know
don't
it's
know if
real though.
no, it's very real. It's very
Mhm.
real. You know, it's extremely real. So I think we should talk about that, Chris. Maybe we should discuss that offline and
Talk
see
about
what's up with that topic. You know, but yeah, man. I mean, there's racism in every culture, man. I think with us as black people, though, it goes back to the Willie Lynch letter, like you heard me reference before, where light skin, you know, verse is better than dark skin.
it.
In the Indian culture, low key, hey man, do you know that black people weren't the original thugs? How about that,
No, I didn't.
man?
But then
Okay,
again, I didn't know black folks was thugs.
well, you know, that's the way media
Now you said
portrays
it.
black
Now you
people.
said it. Now you said it. You said black folks weren't the original thug. Whoever said we was thugs?
Right, but see, that's the thing. Media portrays us as we are thugs. The thugs. Oh, this thug over here, this thug, the thug, Michael. You know, all that type of stuff. But low key, there are dark-skinned Indians, not like the Indians from like over here that were the original people here in the
Yeah.
states, the Indian Americans. I'm talking about the Indians from India,
Mm-hmm.
right? And maybe some Indian people can chime in a little bit because I'm a baby in this subject. I just saw something, read it, and they called the dark skinned Indians. They called them thuggies because These were a band of dark skinned thugs of a gang of people that would go around brutalizing people, killing them to like the god Shiva or something like that, to some demigod or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that was sacrifice. And so they were called thuggies, which is what created the word thug in the United States. People who do bad things, thugs, right?
Okay.
It's
Mhm.
crazy, man. So there's racism, I think, in everything. In everything there's racism, man. It really is.
You went from educating to then just saying that there is prejudice. Like I was trying to figure out where the hell you was going right now. Like we
Man, I
were
go
talking about
you
Indians.
got to see if I'm speaking too fast, that means you listening too slow.
I ain't listening to slow nigga. You done told more stories than Mr. Roger. God damn. I'm
Hey
trying
man,
to figure
that's
out
what
where
I
you.
do. Hey, look, last week when I watched the show last week, you told a bunch of stories. You wouldn't even let Tony get a word in edgewise.
Look at that bullshit face.
Oh man. No, so
Look. So
uh,
the thing is, having more conversations,
we do
and
have to have.
like my thing is this. I think people just need to get more comfortable with just really just wanting to ask those questions because I think the time is now. Do I think it's ever going to change? No, I really don't
Yeah.
because there's a level of hatred in this world that is just it's always something that fuels it even more.
Right.
Everybody want to blame Donald Trump or whatever, but to be honest with you, this ugly spirit has been here forever. It's
Yeah,
just
I
being
think, but
being publicized now,
well, I
like it
think
always
yeah,
has.
it has been forever. No, you're right. It has been here forever, but I do think that Trump is definitely, bringing a nice spotlight to the underbelly of America.
Now, let
You
me
know,
explain something to you. It goes back to what I was telling you earlier about being in situations where you can identify and understand certain situations. So I'll give you an example. I had a conversation on Thanksgiving, and it was a conversation with a family member. We were just talking about just the different levels of like struggles that we've gone through, and different things within our lives. Now, the funny thing is, I made a statement, and to me, it got taken out of context. And I think whenever you talk about stuff like this, it always gets taken out of context. Because my thing was this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and I can give a damn if you don't agree. When you don't live in like a poverty type neighborhood, you can identify with that level of, like, I don't want to say blackness, but there's just a different level. So when you live in like a suburb versus people that live in like say LA, like it's a different level of thinking that you have. I mean, I literally asked him. So when the police get behind you, do you get nervous? He said, for what? I said, yeah. Totally different thinking. Because the crazy thing is, you know damn well. You ain't even have to be doing anything. You can see a cop car behind you. Start grabbing that shit. Shit, okay. I'm doing it.
Yeah. No,
Shit.
that's true.
Like you start thinking like that. And it's just the thing is when you've been in neighborhoods where you've been constantly bothered, and like I said, and this is the part where I feel like as white people, this is the side that you should try to figure out. Because when we say like we've been bothered and we're always harassed, you should ask, what do you mean by that? Versus wanting to make a response like, well, a lot of people get harassed or a lot of people, la, la, la. No, actually try to
Yeah, the
sympathize.
generalizing of stuff I don't think is cool, because I think a lot of times we will generalize it, or the response is generalized. Well, everybody's harassed. I don't like that either. I agree with you on that.
So it's like I just feel like if you ask those appropriate questions, then you can actually start to understand why some black folks think the way they think, or even vice versa. Why some white folks think that why do you always feel like you're being persecuted and the world is against you? So, I just feel like when you ask those questions, that's when you can start to understand why things are the way that they are. And like I said, it starts now. Do I
No,
like
it
I said,
does.
do I think
It
it's ever
does.
going to change like completely? Hell no. It's always going to be like this. But at the same time, if you can help people, then that's one better person in this world, and you made your difference.
Right. No, I think the conversation, and I agree, it does have to start now. What we're doing right now, even having this conversation about some of the ugly things within our own nationality, within our own culture, it's a bad conversation because we're speaking to some of those stereotypes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a horrible conversation, man, because as a black person, you want to be prideful, and you can be prideful, but sometimes you have to have that low key, come to Jesus conversation where you
Mm-hmm.
just got that man to man talk where it's like, dude, you're out of pocket when you do this, or when you disrespect your woman in public, or when she disrespect you in public,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case may be. I think these conversations do need to happen, Chris. It's
Mm-hmm.
so important, man, because how are we ever going to advance in life? I mean, I think that was probably one of the biggest things that really kind of frustrated me, about the whole Black Lives Matter and versus the whole All Lives Matter movement, that was going on. It was kind
Yeah.
of like, there was literally, um, all of these tragic deaths, unnecessary deaths going
Well,
on.
well, watch this, and everybody knows that. Just explain the fact why when people say all lives matter, why in your opinion you feel like it's disrespectful.
Well, it's a protest to the protest, for one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a protest to the protest. It's like, okay, we understand that all, like, it's a normal thing for us to understand that all lives matter. It's a normal thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you and I both know it's a common thing. All
Right.
lives matter,
Mm-hmm.
But right now, Black Lives Matter is basically trying to highlight the fact that, hey, look, we
Mm-hmm.
matter too.
Well, watch this, and I'm gonna expose a little bit on that too, because at the same time, because of that movement, now you're getting a bunch of riffraff. You're getting a bunch of people that just want to get on camera and want to act a fool and act like they're supporting it. So at the
And
same time, that Black Lives Matter has gotten out of control in certain ways. You have certain people that are standing for it and are doing the right things. It's kind of like when you have like a protest, and then you see people start vandalizing buildings and doing stuff like that. The people that are normally vandalizing the buildings don't really support the cause. They just out there because some shit is happening and they just want to be a part of it. That's not the
right,
people that are standing for Black Lives Matter. So
right,
what I'm trying to basically get people to understand is it's getting out of control at this point because you have a bunch of people that are just saying it, but they're not doing any research. They're not really doing anything that's beneficial to Black Lives Matter. So
right,
it makes it look ignorant and it makes it look stupid. And that's the reason why a lot of people now, especially outside of the race, will say, no, it's a joke. And to be honest with
right.
you, that's how we made it look. We
No,
made
and
it
that's
look like
true.
a joke.
People will say that. People will definitely say that. I think, but even saying what you're saying right now to highlight the fact that the troublemakers that are out there, aren't really for the whole Black Lives Matter. They're just mainly for the trouble. You know
Hey,
what I mean?
you want to tell you one thing that's frustrating to me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably piss a lot of people off with it. I don't give a fuck. So, anyways, Colin Kaepernick. Now,
Oh, come on, man. All
lot
right.
of people want to stand behind this man, but I'm gonna tell you something. If you had watched him leading up to before he left the 49ers, his actions and the things that he was talking about before he took that kneel, because he had conversations and certain things before all of that went down. And to be
Yeah.
honest with you, his views are nowhere near how. I mean, they got this brother damn near goddamn Dr. King. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
First of all, this man don't even read books. I mean,
Man.
and I'm not trying to disrespect this man like he's not an educated man. But what I'm explaining to you is the level of that they're putting him on is just ridiculous to me. And
Yeah.
when we really look at the situation, and I'm gonna educate some people on this part because a lot of people don't know this. Oh yeah, he's being blackballed and blah blah blah. Let me tell you something. He left the 49ers. They didn't cut him. He left the 49ers because he didn't want to be a backup. And that's the
Mm.
truth. And I
Yeah,
got
I
that
didn't
from
know
an
that.
NFL player
Okay.
that actually gave me the insight on that. He didn't want to be a backup. So when he left that contract, that guaranteed money, he screwed himself. When you stand for you should already know politics, race, religion. Anytime you talk about anything like that, it's too much, it's too passionate. It makes people uncomfortable. So
No, that's
if
true.
you thought that they were gonna put you on this team and you have all of this media hype around, and of course they've spun it around to say, oh, he's disrespecting the flag. Bullshit. It ain't got nothing to do with the flag. It has to do with the actions behind that damn flag. Stop making black folks look like they just don't want to stand for the flag. It has nothing to do. We support the men and women that support this country. We love them. We appreciate you. And for the ones that don't, you stupid as hell. But bottom line is most people stand for the people that fight for our country. That flag, there's a lot of negative history behind that. And I think the people don't want to see that. I mean, if you
Well, there's
notice, that's
negative
why they're
history
tearing
behind this
that's
single
why
band.
they're tearing statues down now.
Yeah,
You
there's
know what
negative
I'm saying?
history behind the Star Spangled Banner and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. You know what I mean? The flag, for what it represents, is it's a beautiful thing. Because there were blacks and whites and Mexicans and Asians back then that died for our country too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of people that died, but I think more than anything, it's really the Star Spangled Banner and all that type of stuff. That's
Mm-hmm.
what people have an issue with. Like even the third verse that's in there that was cut out, with all the racial undertones about the slave, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in there, but people forget that, black people own slaves too. The
Yeah.
Creoles own slaves,
Mm-hmm.
there were some Asians that owned slaves back then, and so that's just a really nasty part of our history that a lot of times we forget about,
I
you
was gonna
know.
say we slave our people now. That's why we have high prices for black owned stuff.
Man, no, that's true. That's true.
Like I said, I'll be honest. I'm always gonna say it like how I feel because at the end of the day, it's the truth. I brought
Yeah.
up the whole last week as far as how we open up, barbecue shops and all that kind of stuff because it's the truth. Like I said, when we can stop taking advantage, not just of our own people, but just in like over people. Period. You should want to do good. You should want to be helping
You
folks.
should
And
want to,
yeah,
but
and I know it's not. I know it's not the financial best thing to do, but at the financial best thing to do. But it's like at the same time when you're continuing to do this to your own people, don't talk to me about
yeah.
support the black businesses and all that stuff. Hell no. I'm gonna go to the
No, that's
best place
true.
I can get the best deal. And if
Yeah.
you
No,
raping your
that's true.
people, I hope your shit go out of business. Period.
Oh, I hear you, man. I mean, look, man, that's some excellent points, and everything. I think this was a good show. I think this show can even go on for a little bit longer because again, we touched the surface, man. With a lot of stuff.
Touch this.
Um,
You scratched.
yeah, we scratched it, man, because it goes real deep, man. And I want to definitely thank, Latifa, for chiming in tonight, and Jacqueline for chiming in, because you guys said a lot of wonderful things for real when it came to about pride and the self-hatred and even the hating against each other. So I'm glad you guys tuned in tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And please tell your friends about, Man to Man TV, because Chris and I, we're gonna be on here every week. We got one more show before the end of
One
the
more.
year. We gotta turn up for the new year, Chris. We
But
gotta.
see, this is the thing. We gotta figure out what type of topic we're gonna go with. Like, I need something. Like, the funny thing is, I was having a conversation earlier about
Yeah.
if you have a problem with your woman hyphening your last name. I mean, her last.
Oh man, don't even bring up that subject, man.
Hey.
No. You know what?
Hey.
You know what? You know what? We got to talk offline about that topic. Seriously. Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
I'm telling you.
Latifah, thank you so much.
We're
Latifah
gonna
said black empowerment is threatening to others. Good show, guys. Thank you so much, Latifah. We really appreciate your support, for real. Thank you. For real. Thank you. Because like you would say, Chris, what do you say to people that support now and don't support later? Or whatever? Don't support us when we get big.
I already told them. The time to get on is now. The bus ain't moving, the train ain't moving. They still selling tickets. Get your ass on the train or get left. Nobody on, ain't no next stop. This shit going to the top.
There you go. Oh, wait, hold on. Jacqueline said one more thing before we close this out. She says, what bothers me is this. Are we going to care about taking a knee next year? Or is this a fad that is in right now? Something to think about.
It's a fad.
So she's commenting on the whole, Kaepernick thing. It's a fad. It's a fad. It's a fad.
You know how it's a fad? Because it's no different than every time some black kid dies, everybody's mad. We protested and this is wrong, and blah blah blah. We talking about it for a while, and then it goes away. And then the next one comes, and we back on it again, and we support it. Black Lives Matter, blah blah blah. So to be honest with you, it's a fad, because if you really get serious about it, then you'll start taking the appropriate steps to start making change. And if you're not doing it, then stop going so hard for the situation at hand. Just go on and be quiet, allow it to play out like it normally does, and let's get back to the world the way we see it every day.
Right, or better yet, you know what, Chris? One of the things that my father, he passed away. My dad used to say this. He said, the more that you can be a creator, he said, the more you can be a creator of something, it's the less likelihood of you being a consumer of something. And that's the thing. As black people, as every single nationality creates something and they dominate their market, right? Black people are nothing but consumers, man. We consume everything created by everyone else. Now, we might have been the original creator of something, but right now we consume. We don't have our own grocery stores. We don't have our own.
Not major, but we've come a long way. We have banks.
Yeah, we have small banks, but I don't have a bank account with none of those banks. I'm just being honest. I don't even know if there's one in my neighborhood. But I'm saying,
to be honest with you, I don't trust black folks.
Oh, come on, man. Don't say that. See, now you're being funny, man. Now you're being funny. Don't say that.
Man, to a certain extent, I don't trust them, especially when it comes to money. We get a little funny with money.
Well, I don't trust anybody.
Especially black preachers.
But see, stop it, Chris. Stop that. Don't stop that. Stop that. I don't trust anybody, because God says not to put your trust in man.
That's because you're not honest about it, though.
I'm honest about it.
Telling the truth.
I'm telling you, I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. I don't. I even told my wife when we got married, don't trust me. Trust my character. Like, we've had that conversation before. Right. Trust my character. Trust what I will do. Trust what I won't do. But don't trust me. I'm going to let you down. That's, man will let you down. And we have a great relationship because of that. And we've had some serious hang-ups, because of that. But that's another conversation for another show. But look,
I don't even know how we got on that conversation.
What's that? What'd you say?
I said I don't even know how we got on that conversation.
I know. I don't know either, man. Let's close it out, man. It's 8:10. It's been real. You've been listening to Richard Hall and Chris Smith on Man to Man Radio. We can't do this show without our wonderful producer, Toni Breedlove. Make sure you guys tune in next week to see what in the hell we're going to talk about next week. Because we're going to talk about something, right, Chris? We're going to talk about something.
And it ain't
And
gonna
it's
be.
going to be good.
I put it like this: I'll make sure he don't tell y'all 1,000 stories next week. I promise.
You know what?
I'm
Man,
gonna
shut up.
figure it out.
Hey, we're going to mute your mic.
You ain't gotta sit through this shit.
No, we're going to mute your mic. We're going to mute your mic, man. But look, you guys have been listening. Make sure you go over to the HotTopicsTalkRadio.com website. Check out all the sponsors again. Thank you again. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday for Real World News with our very own Reggie Kearney and Chara. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday to check out Toni Breedlove and Roland D on Hot Topics, so they got a hot show too. And then, of course, on Thursdays, you'll have us, Man to Man Radio, or I'm sorry, Man to Man TV. Yeah, that's what we got to do it now, man.
We came up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We
came up a little bit. We gonna see our ugly faces on TV, right, Chris?
You said ugly. Look, I ain't going all that. I might not be.
Yeah, well, okay, your ugly face
is far from that. You know,
oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Anyway,
God,
it's been real, y'all. We love y'all and everything like that. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna see you guys next week. All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Peace out. Good show, Chris.